Let's get this music out of here and get going. Hello, everyone. Welcome to Day Trade Options. This is Metal. I'm just doing a recap of today's trades, and I'm gonna answer some questions. Today, I was gonna try to get around to the video or the training session with everyone. I ran out of time. Literally got home a little bit ago, and just have not had enough time to put it together. So I know I told one of our members that I would help them tonight. I will have to help you tomorrow. I apologize for that. So I will get to you in the morning. So let's get into today's trades, man. They were pretty simple. I did have one. My first trade was a loss, and part of it was based off of bias. Which, that's a common theme. I think you'll hear from me. I try not to trade bias ever, but once again, we're all human. And we were listening to news, and I had read some reports that MU was going to start adding a surcharge to their products due to the tariffs that they were having to deal with. So I was like, man, if this thing goes up, oh, that could either cause it to go up or cause it to go down. I wasn't really sure which direction, because sometimes it just doesn't make sense. But I was like, okay, but it could move. I was looking for it to have some sort of movement based off of that news. Well, it couldn't have been further from the truth. It was the worst trade I got in, and it was like watching paint dry. And I ended with a $900 loss because I still kept waiting for my level. And I'll explain why and the reasons I did what I did. And I should have got out here, but because it bought back up right away, and then a couple other things happened in the market, I was like, okay, I'm going to give it a shot. Well, then all of a sudden I get this candle, and I'm like, okay, well, maybe this thing's going to turn and finally go. Nope, it didn't. So here's what I did. I saw this push down off of the LRC first thing, but then it reclaimed. And as it was reclaiming this level, I was like, hey guys, if this goes back up, I'm going to get in. So I got in. Unfortunately, I think I got in at the top when I market ordered in. So I got in like really high at the top. And I got in 20 calls because I was really expecting this thing to go straight up to 74. So I was going to trade heavy, take profit at 74, and move on. Well, it didn't happen, of course. So my next candle, big red candle. But guess what? I had no follow through on the big red candle either. So I was like, this thing may continue. So I didn't get out. I did get a second red candle below my 20 EMA. However, if you guys have watched me long enough, I tend to pay attention to the close. And if the close is right at the bottom, there's no reason for me to get out because I'm already going to be taking a loss. I've FOMO'd enough in the past, right? I've got out quick in the past and found myself taking many losses that I never would or should have taken. So I've learned to be a little bit more patient, and so then I did get a green candle, and I decided to add when this candle went over this green candle. Back over the 20 EMA. So I did sell 10 when I didn't get it at the top though. I think I got it at the bottom because the interesting thing was when I sold 10, I was really reducing risk. I think I was really close. I was just a tiny amount of profit. It wasn't a lot of profit. I don't recall the amount that I locked in, but then I stayed in. The crazy thing is I should have went ahead and got out. But what I was watching was this consolidation right here, right? And I love trading consolidation moves. And because it kept coming and pushing up off the 20, I was like, this thing, once it breaks this red, it's gonna go. And it never did, and that's okay. That is trading. It doesn't always happen, but I can tell you 9 times out of 10 when my LRC or mine when the anchored LRC line when it consolidates like this and it breaks it, Like I legitimately thought when that happened, this thing was gone, and it did not go. So that kept me in it, kept me in it. I did get a close and then a consecutive close. Once again, I watched what happened. Buying pressure pushed all the way up, and I was like, okay, let me give it one more shot. Sure enough, I get another green candle, holds me in the trade. Get a red down. I'm like, okay, this is looking bad. I exit, I market it out. This thing, I think I got it at the bottom because I ended up with a $900 loss. So that was a bummer of a trade. Sucked. It just didn't go anywhere. It was just it was just a grind, just a choppy grind the whole time. So terrible trade, but that is what it is. We don't, none of us know exactly what the trades are going to do when we get in them. We can just trade the levels, and that's what I did. So the next trade, really good trade. I still profited really well today. So I did extremely well. And the next trade was NVIDIA. I'll walk you through my whys and why not, and what I did here. So I extended my stop loss simply because of one, market conditions again, watching what ES was doing, watching what SPY, Qs, NASDAQ, and other stocks, AVGO, SMH. I watch all of them as I'm trading, and so I was watching that, and I saw this come up above 104, and I told everyone that, hey, Nvidia, I haven't really been trading it lately, but I liked its pre-market movement. I said, okay, it has some pretty good price action. If it gets above 104, I'm going to trade above to the upside, or below 104 back down to 102. But what I saw happen was, okay, we rejected the 104, we came down, and this was telling to me. I really thought I was gonna, and I did get the move. It took more time. I had to be patient. So I think we're dealing with, just market makers, people getting, them trapping people. And I just didn't fall for it for one major reason, and I'll show why. So I got in right at the break of 104. Then immediately at a loss, right? I got in 10 calls. So I'm down again. I'm like, oh man, I'm gonna have two back to back, um, bad trades. But then I was watching the buying pressure came and pushed and closed above the 20 EMA. I am sorry, guys. Every time I do videos, I start yawning. I don't know what it is. So then that was all fine and dandy. But then, woo, I get this big candle down. Hey, Trauma, how you doing, buddy? And and then I almost got out, but as soon as it went down, the buying pressure just started pushing it up. So, it closed above. And what did I do? I added. Why did I add? I added five there. The reason I added was because it this is going to be my stop out right here anyway, right at this level. So I decided to just go ahead and add. I added five, so I had 15 total. And then I finally got the move. Once it went up here, and I thought, oh man, it's not going to go again because it rejected it again. But next candle straight up. Oh, and when I held all the way through all of this, I took five off on this candle for no other reason that, I'm just getting faked out because the wicks down, up and down, up and down. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna just lock in five. Waited, saw this come down to the 20 MA, and I even told the group, I was like, yep, it looks like I'm gonna either have to hop out of this at break even or maybe a small loss if it gets below my 104 level. And as soon as I was saying that, I saw the buying pressure come in. I was like, oh no, okay, this is looking good. Boom, we got another big, move up. So I scaled four on that push. My goal was to get to the red LRC. And darn it, I was determined to actually hit that thing, I guess, which is silly. I should have got out on this candle, really. No real reason to chance it to not get there. 106 was my actual true level, but I'd said, 106 or the red LRC, and look where it stopped, the LRC. It's just incredible, guys. So I did profit 630 on this trade today. It was a decent trade. Could I have maybe done it better. I don't know that I would do it any differently. I did get faked out here. The only thing I think I did do is I just went with a riskier move, which is, taking a breakout. Um, and so that's just a FOMO thing. That's what we all deal with. As much I know it's a higher risk trade. However, I was willing to risk it. And of course I did risk it because look how far down I was on the trade, but I eventually got the move. So it worked out for me. That was a great trade. My next trade was NVIDIA again. So I got in puts in NVIDIA. This time I did go against my rules a little bit because I traded down into. Oh, yeah. Yep, absolutely. Matter of fact, prior to real time, because I call out setups that are happening in advance. I miss plenty of setups. Like matter of fact, the members call out some that I don't see because I'm constantly, that's all I do is I just watch the grids to look for setups. So I'll call out and give our members plenty of time in advance to know when a setup is coming and give everyone the opportunity to get in. So and then it's up to each individual. What's really bad, Joe, is I call out some amazing setups and I don't get in them. So that's the thing. Ask Trauma. He's right there. He'll tell you. He trades in the group. So yeah, anyway. Yeah, it's awesome. We have an incredible group. I couldn't be happier. So I did get into a late trade here. This is typically something I don't do. The best entry would have been the retest. So for anyone out there seeing this, just because I profited does not make this a great trade. I was really wanting to catch this big move going down to either the 200 EMA or 102. Once again, I should have waited for. There was two things I did wrong here. I didn't wait for the retest. However, I still entered on the retest because that's when I should have got in anyway. Um, the other thing is I was trading into the 200 EMA, which I know that is taboo for me, but it was pretty extended. It wasn't as extended here, but we could almost see the whole market was trying to pull back. So I felt pretty safe with the entry. Although as soon as I entered, and this is where you have to just be, I don't know if it's experience or having some resolve. I don't know, but I trade my levels and I trust my levels, and I trade the 20 EMA on the 2 minute, and so it pulled way back. I was in drawdown again for the third time. It's like that was my day today. Um, but when I came up and hit the 20 EMA, I honestly can't remember if it was the red or the green. I think it was the red because I waited for red, and then I added five more puts to this trade, and so I got in. I exited on this big push down. I probably took too many off. I scaled 10 here. I probably should have scaled 5 and held 10, and I would have had um, quite a different profit. But I think I was feeling really uneasy in the market, and sometimes those instincts or whatever are good, and sometimes they're bad. And you know what? I'll live with it. I'm happy. I'm killing it profit wise. So I, it does frustrate me sometimes when I go back and review what I've done and how poorly I do trade sometimes, and the decisions I make. Like scaling 10 here was not smart. I should have scaled 5. But to be frank, I wasn't sure if I was going to clear my structure here. This thing was going to break and go back up. The market was acting crazy. So I was like, lock in some profit. And then I scaled 3 on this big push, and then I scaled the last two. And it was only a $300 profit, but it was still a good profit. Um, Granted, I was in for a lot. So I was in 15 contracts. So not the best percentage, but still a decent profit, decent amount of money made on the day. And then my last one was my SPX, and that's where I made my money today again. SPX is, it seems so easy. You just trade SPX by using SPY. That's how I trade it. Um, so this trade was a perfection trade. This is exactly what I look for. I couldn't have, I wouldn't trade it any differently. I'd trade it 10 out of 10 times. Of course, I was in drawdown again because of just market craziness today and pullbacks that just kept happening. But I still held my level. I still held the 518. So basically what I did, I saw the push down, the push down, the retest of 518 because it pre-market SPY had already wicked up and down and came up and tested and rejected it from the bottom and then pushed back up above, came back down, retested, went back up above, closed above my 20 EMA, which is what I look for. And also my cyan is right here. So that's super important for me. Entered on the push above, the next push above my close. And I entered 3 SPX calls, held, got this big drop. I added as soon as it dropped. I called that out in the group. I was like, hey, I'm going to add here because this is where I'm going to get out if it goes against me. And I was like, I may risk the 518, but if I get a big candle going down, I may just hop. And sure enough, I got the next candle up. On number 3, I scaled 3 off, and then I scaled the last. I exited the last one. Oh, I'm sorry. I scaled. Where did I do it? I think I wrote it up wrong. Yeah, there is no. Did I write it up wrong? Oh no. Yeah, I scaled 3. Sorry, exited 1 for. This was $2,900 trade right here. Um, so I got all the way to my target level. So that was fantastic. I love when that happens. And what is at the target level? What stopped us? Can you guys see that little blue line right there? You know what that is, right? That is a long LRC. They are important. I cannot stress it enough. Has changed my trading and made it even better. So then I got into puts, and so I got 5 SPX puts right here. At this point, the puts were a little cheaper at the money, and you can see where and why I got in, right? We had consolidation. We were holding above a long LRC line, another level. In between it and the 200 EMA. Look at this. I mean, when I see that happening, I get excited. I do. And then as soon as this broke, I was like, if I get another candle down, I'm hopping in. And that's exactly what I did. As soon as it went past the close, which happened almost immediately, I got in 5 puts. This one I was immediately in profit, so this was my best trade. I didn't go into drawdown finally on one trade in the day. So then on this level, on this candle here, I got below. This is our oil break level. We got below that. We came up, retested the oil break, pushed back down off of it. I scaled 3 right there. I held, scaled 1, and then I exited the last one for a $1,210 profit. So I mean, in these last 2 days, I have had absolute just incredible profit days. So I'm just gonna keep on keeping on trading the same way every single day. Oh, let me go to my. I don't think I showed my. I'll show my. This is my small account. Um, that's what I loaded up right here. So my small account, I traded NVIDIA, and I'll just show you the actual trade. So I got in 2 here, and I traded NVIDIA right alongside my large account NVIDIA. If you notice, it was the exact same trade. So I got in here. I added 1 the same time I added with my large account. So now I was only in 3 contracts. Um, I exited one here, exited the next one there, and then I finally exited on my second close. I gave back a little bit too much on this one. I was up over 220 here. I ended up with 136. I should have just went for the profit, or at least got out on this close here, but I was trusting. Well, let me show it on the real chart. It's a little, the 20 EMA and everything's a lot different on the options chain. Um, you can see it's much closer here, but since I was, it looks worse over there, but it literally just came straight down. Everything looked like buying pressure was up, right? We had all these wicks pushing up, and it was a constant move up. So I just figured we were going to go. But this red LRC was our beast. That's what got us today. With almost every single stock stopped on our red LRC today and then pushed down. So anyway, I got out on that candle. I did get also in the NVIDIA put side right when I got in with my large trade as well. So I got in puts. I added. So I got in here. It was pushing up. Remember, I got it. It was a little late getting in. So I got in late, added on the pullback, exited 2 to lock in profit. And this I got at the top because it doesn't show it here, and then I exited the one there. It wasn't much. It was only 69 bucks, but it was, 69 bucks. I'll go to, let me see, that was 11 o'clock. And 11 o'clock, once again, same exact scenario. I got in at the same time on my small account as I did my big account. There was a gentleman asking earlier in use think script form if I trade my small account different than my large account. No, I trade it the same way, with the exception of a little bit more FOMO. I mean, of course, you have to be a little bit more careful. Um, but so I still wrote it. I added just like I did with the other, and I've traded it pretty much the same way. And then Q's was a great trade today. Q's was, let me see when I got in Q's. Oh, there it is. It just showed up. There's a delay. Okay, so at 12:20, and there was only one, and I exited. Yeah, and I missed all of this, but that's okay. 12:36, 12:20, and 12:36. So 12:20 was, I must have, did I front run that? I think I did. Yeah, I think I did. So kind of interesting. Is 8K enough to trade? Oh yeah. Yeah, I'm this account that I'm trading right now, I started with 600, the small account. I'm already at 2,700 and I started a week and a half ago. And I'm literally trading it just like I do my big account. So the now that's not going to be a norm as far as winnings because I did catch last Friday's big drop, so I was able to profit, I think like an extra like 400 on the day or maybe a touch more. And then also yesterday, I had another almost $400 day. So um, I've had a couple really high end days, but for the most part, I've had a couple days that I traded the small account. I only made like 68 on 2 trades, like 120 bucks or so on the day, and then I made 58 and 58, which was I can't remember. It was one of the days I made it like the exact same on both trades, but um, so 600 is enough. It's very hard though, Joe. 8,000 makes life easier because you can trade, you can make a mistake, or I wouldn't say it. Well, you can make a mistake, but even if, let's say you traded the strategy, let me try to find a scenario. If you traded this strategy and you got in, um, let's just be hypothetical here. Let's just say this one came up, you got your close above, you entered on this one. Everything looks like it should, right? And if this goes against you, that would be a loss, right? So sometimes these don't go, and that's just the way it is. But I would say 9 times out of 10 they do. I mean, I think I'm profiting. Well, like MU, I had a loss on that one today, but um, if you have $8,000 and you get in one and then you manage your risk, if you risk out quick enough, take your loss, move on, don't worry about the loss, wait for the next setup, get in again, here, boom, and then you get the move. Or you get in on this one right here, close, get in on this one. This is the best. If you get anything like this, you're getting in at your stop out, right? So you get in right at the move below the close. You get all of this straight down to a target level. So 8,000 is plenty. Um, of course, you need to, you need to have really good risk management. You don't want to be, taking huge losses and getting, and I would say don't even try to trade until, and if you still have like an anxiety or FOMO or a nervousness when you're trading, you should probably stay small. Honestly, because if you're just taking knee-jerk reactions and trades based on, yeah, information or what the group's calling out, or if someone's like, oh man, I like this, no, you need to know exactly why you're getting in a trade, and you need to know where you're getting out before you ever enter a trade. That's your risk management, right? And the other part of risk management is you want to, don't over leverage yourself, right? Don't get yourself to a point where, because you've put in too much risk, or you've over leveraged, that it causes you to FOMO out because you're now down like 1,200 or 14 or 20 or $2,000, where if you were under leveraged or leveraged properly and you're like, okay, I can risk this couple $100 loss, I don't care. I'm going to trade this, I'm going to trust my levels. That's how you become successful. Is you have to be able to trust your trade. And if you can't trust your trade, it's going to be a very hard, long road. And it may not be a successful road. I think that's why like 97% of people fail at day trading, is because the human emotion side of it, it's really tough. But when I started trading the Anchored LRC strategy, I still had those issues. Yeah, don't revenge trade. Please don't revenge trade. Although I did revenge trade a couple of times. It was in my big account. I've built that account up quite a bit over the last several months. So I think you heard me call it out the other day, Trauma. I was like, or maybe you had left. I think you went to go play Rocket League. And I was like, doggone it, because I got a loss on a trade, and I'm like, okay, it looks like it's setting up again. I was like, guys, I think I'm taking this as a revenge trade. I'm gonna see if I can reduce my loss. Yeah, no, I agree with Trauma. Please, yeah, don't revenge trade. Just move on. Take your loss, move on, or wait for the next A plus setup to make a profit, and just don't try to force anything. But trading can be simple if you get a good understanding and have a good rule set for you. It doesn't have to be my strategy. It can be several. I think trading levels is the key to being successful. I really believe that. I don't think you're going to find indicators or anything out there that's going to give you buy and sells to make you successful. I don't think it's really possible. The reason for that is they do not base their time to tell you to buy or sell off of support and resistance levels, which is where the market's going to move to and from. you know, and because of that, it might give you a buy signal I mean, a sell signal like right here, and you just broke a level and retested. It's saying to sell, and here it goes straight up. Or it may be telling you to buy right here, and you're buying right into a level, which is asinine. You can use indicators. Don't get me wrong, but you have to be smart enough or savvy enough to know, focus on the levels. If you get a signal that says buy, look and see if it's coming off of a major level. Then, heck yeah, try it out and make the level your stop out. You know, it is doable. I wasn't very successful with it. I tried. I tried using all thousands of indicators. I do use some. Like I created that oscillator that works really well, but it's not 100%. It was just an experiment, and it works, but it's not something that I would say. I think everybody should learn price action, learn support resistance, learn how to apply support resistance, which is what I'm going to do right this second for trauma. So let's just look at a chart. I won't go into too much depth, but I'll definitely do it on a training session in Discord. So when I go in and put in levels, let's just take a look at what I do. I'll go, sometimes it's the 4 hour, sometimes it's the 3. And unfortunately on TOS, you can only go back, not the 3, the 1 hour. You can only go back so far on the 1 hour. You can only go back 360 days. Well, because our market dropped so far down, we didn't have any levels that we could see back 360 days to go and compare to. So I had to go to the 4 hour and even the day time frame. But what I look for, let me try to find a very key, because it doesn't, I don't have to show you a bunch. I just need to show you one real good setup. I'm going to get rid of the highlighted so it's a little easier. I know this is super busy, but there's my long LRC, and look at it. It's just insane. So good. I'm going to go to a 30-minute and see if I can find a good scenario. So typically, I may have to go back. It's tough because we're at a rough time to do this because I don't have anything to the left to help based on where our price action is now. So one of the things I will look for, and I'll just try to use what I have here, right? Remember today I said we had the 440 and the 441 that we were going up to. I called that out and I said, hey, I got the 440 and the 441. And that's just because when I went further back, the 440 was hit like to the penny, dropped. Support, it became support, price pushed up off of it, price pushed down off of it. So what I look for is just key pivot points, and it really isn't that difficult. Sometimes the water gets muddy, so to speak, because we get in, like we've been in the last few days, is super choppy ranging. So it just kind of makes us have all of these in between zones. I cleared out a bunch, believe it or not. Like it was way busier than it is now. And this is insane, but I kept all the ones from above. So normally you would just like, just ignore all of that and look at this. So what I do look for is a push up. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to use my drawing tool because I want to draw it in. So the key thing to focus on, and I'm just going to use this 440 as a level, is if you go back in time and you'll see, okay, price came up, hit this, moved down, kind of went down, came back up, hit it again, fluctuated, came up, broke, retested, came back to it, turned it into support, was resistance, support. You might have, some time goes by, bam, hits it again, goes back up, gets a new high, comes back down. The more times you have an instance of it being support and resistance over a period of time, that is a major. That's an absolute major. That's how sometimes when, if you've heard me say, hey, I have this level, it's a minor, it's literally because I don't really have a lot of pivots. I have a few that were significant, like this and this, but I only had a few, so I can't. So I'm not. When you only have one or two, you're not really sure, or I'm not, that it's going to be a significant enough level to make a difference. So I'm going to go back over here and I'll show you the 444. If I can find 441 and 440, 440. Ugh, whoops. So if you look, you had price topping out here, topping out there. This isn't a good example. It came up, went back through. So this is not a good example area. This one went higher. And you're gonna have that too. Where sometimes it's not respected. Came up here, rejected. This is almost close enough. It doesn't have to be right on it. It just needs to be close. When I see like this wick went all the way to the 441, several of these wicks, because I'll zoom in, they went above the 441. Some of them, went above, but you can see it closed on 441, opened on 441. This one stopped, closed on 440, pushed down, opened on 440, pushed down. So I just go through and analyze, and you can see that price is respecting these levels, and it really isn't as difficult as it may seem. So when you're just going through and doing it, you probably can. Man, it just looks so busy because of what we've been in. I will probably clean this up even more. That is a mess. That is a lot of levels. Of course, when you're on a 2 minute, it's not so bad, right? You have quite a range you can trade to. But we still have these in between pivot ranges that may matter. Like 102 mattered. 101 mattered. Look at that. Look at that. So many times it came up and hit it. And that's why I use it to trade. To take profits when I have price moving to or from it. Once again, look to 102, came down, hit it, pushed up, went up to 104, pushed back down. So hopefully that explains how I find the levels, and that's what I'll just go through, and and sometimes I miss. Sometimes I may be off because I'm like in between, but I usually take a lot of time and effort uh, to locate because it's that important to me. When I'm trading, I want to know that I can trust my levels. So hopefully that answers your question, Trauma. I'll still do uh, a live training session. And Joe, whether you're a member or not, that training session will be open to everybody. So you're welcome to come in and be a part of it. Do you guys have any questions before I wrap this up? Awesome, awesome. Yeah, I'll definitely help you more with it. So, what I like to do, and I've done this before with people. It's been a little while, but what I've done before is I will let you go live and have a blank chart, and you do the you do the levels, and then you and I can review them together because I think people need to do it themselves to get a feel for what they're doing. You know what I mean? And I think it will help you to do it, yourself in the future. Um, I'm sorry. So on SPX, you also go at market. Yeah, I almost always do market. The only time I ever do like a bid, buy bid, or is if I'm in a consolidation area, Joe, and like if it's consolidating, like kind of let's see, what's a good example? Maybe like an example, none of these are good examples, but anyway, if I have like a good consolidation, like it comes down and it's bear flagging, what I may do is if I look at it and I feel like, okay, it's about to break, like I guess this is a good example right here. I might say buy the bid, and if it comes up, I just get a little bit better entry. The problem with trying to do that is I used to try that all the time, and I'd miss my trades because it would never come up and get me. And then by the time I got in, I didn't want to chase it because then you're afraid, hell, if it turns around, of course, this would have been amazing. Um, but the if you trust your levels, what's a couple pennies? I mean, honestly, I mean, I know it might be 60, $70 difference in profit, maybe 100, depending on how far out market gets you. But if you're trusting your level and you're looking to get a certain move to a target, you know, you kind of just have to trust it and get in. Or that's my take. Um, so anyhow, I think I'm going to call it. Thanks for stopping by, guys. Hit that like button, and I will see you in the morning, trauma. And I'll see the rest of you guys on the next video. Thanks for watching.